Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for coming. Be welcome to your English class. It's time for beginning with the class for today, and we have to read the versicle. Pay attention because we are going to talking about poor in spirit, because that is the value for this week. And we have to go to Matthew 5:3, and we have blessed. Remember, this is an adjective. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Okay. These are words from the Lord Jesus. Okay, for tonight, we're going to take a look for this versicle at dictionary.com. Okay, pay attention. We are reading the New International Version. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for there is the kingdom of heaven. Okay, remember, in Spanish, maybe we have another word different like to bless, because bless is like bendición. But in a Spanish version, we are going to find something like bienaventurado. And some people say, oh, well, in Spanish, bienaventurado is like to say two times blessed, or dos veces benditos. But in English, we don't have that expression. We have another expression. Pay attention because, for example, if we go to New Living Translation, we are going to find God blesses those who are poor and realize their need for him. For the kingdom of heaven is theirs. This is another way. I pay attention because in this translation is like God blesses. Okay, from God come the blessing. In this time to whom? Okay, to the poor, but not poor talking about or thinking about to be poor without wealth, or maybe without rich, or not to be rich. In this time is to realize that I need to God. I need God. I realize that I need God. I can make a change in my life and saying, hey, God, I need you. That is to be poor. Well, but here we have another translation, but they are too similar in the same way. Pay attention because English Standard Version, one more time, blessed, remember, it's an adjective. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Berean, blessed are the poor in spirit. Berean literal is the same. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for there is the kingdom of heaven. But here we have King James. In this time, King James is like the other version. Okay, normally King James is with an old-fashioned English or early modern English, but in this time, no. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for there is the kingdom of heaven. It's the same. If we go to New American Standard Bible, is the same thing. New American Standard from 1995 and 1977, blessed are the poor in spirit. Okay, in each one of these is the same expression. Just in one, we are going to find something different, and is God blesses. But pay attention because we are going to read Amplified Bible. In this case, blessed, and we have one explaining about what is blessed according to the Amplified Bible. Spiritually prosperous, happy, to be admired. This is the definition to blessed. The adjective blessed is someone who is spiritually prosperous, is happy, and is somebody that the rest of the people are going to admire because he or she is or has many blessings. Well, and the poor in spirit. What is the definition to be a poor in spirit? Okay, those devoid of spiritual arrogance, those who regard themselves as insignificant. Okay, in another words, one person, when you and me, we are poor in spirit, that means that we are humble. We are humble, okay? Without arrogance, okay? Well, let's see, but we have another thing, and we have regard themselves as insignificant. That means that one people that is poor in spirit say, hey, Lord, my Lord, I don't be anything. I don't be anything. You are the all, or the most important thing is you and not me. Okay, is another way to say I am humble. I am humble. But remember, you never has to say, I am humble. I want to be humble. I need to be humble is the words that we have to say every day. Okay, let's see. And for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, both now and forever. This is interesting. Bueno, cerraremos entonces esta noche lo que sería el versículo, tomando en cuenta que la Amplified Bible nos describe la característica de este adjetivo de bendecido, ¿verdad? De alguien bendito, en el sentido de que es una prosperidad espiritual, es alguien que por dicha prosperidad se siente feliz y que podríamos admirar la dicha de esa persona. También nos explica que un poor in spirit no se refiere a los pobres de wealth o maybe de riches, de riquezas. No, no se refiere a lo material. Se refiere a alguien que carece de ser espiritualmente arrogante o una persona que es soberbia o que en sus propias palabras diría, I don't need from God. Yo no necesito de Dios. Entonces, los pobres en espíritu son los que reconocen, I need from God. Necesito buscar a Dios. Y aparte de eso, nos dice que se reconocen a sí mismos como seres o personas insignificantes, que no somos nada sin nuestra fe o sin nuestro Dios. A ese punto es al que se refería Jesús cuando hablaba de los poor in spirit, porque muchas veces este versículo lo agarran algunas personas pensando que se refería a la pobreza material y no es esa a lo que se estaba refiriendo. Well, that's gonna be all. Con eso terminamos y vamos a ir a lo que vendría siendo el material del past progressive tense. Maybe you remember, tal vez recordamos lo que estuvimos explicando ayer de este chart, ¿verdad? Porque lo vamos a volver a poner en practice. Okay, at first we have to know or remember the rules that we are going to use. Well, the first one is to remember how to use the was or were form. Remember, in this case, for making the past progressive tense, we need to use the past form of be, and it's was and were. We have two ways, was and were. And we use was with the singular personal pronouns like I, he, she, and it, was. But if we need to say something in a negative way, we are going to use was not, but it's most common to say wasn't. And then we have the plural personal pronouns like you, we, and they. But remember, you can be to the singular one. In this case, we are going to use for you singular or you plural the same form of to be, and it's were. Okay, and for making negative statements, we are going to say were not or just weren't. Okay, this is the first part. We have to remember that it is similar to the using about the present progressive tense. In this case, that change is only the form from the verb to be. We go for am, is, or are to was or were, and remember, we can make question too with this verb. And if we make a question, we can make two short answer like no, I wasn't. Yes, I was. No, you weren't. No, they weren't. You were. Okay, we can make many things similar to the past simple tense. It's very similar to use the past simple tense, but we need something else. We need to add the ing form for this case. And for the ing form, we have to remember about some rules for making the gerund or maybe the present participle. That means that we have to remember, for example, the rules or exception. Because we say, okay, one, for every verb, just add ing and you are going to make the ing form of the verb. For example, if we think, we use the verb think, okay, we add ing and we can form like thinking. Okay, it's for many verbs, just we are going to add ing. But there come the exceptions. we have exception. In this case, the first one is to remember about the ending with E. We have verbs that ending with E, and we have to change the E and replace for ing. For example, the verb is dance, and we are going to form the ing form. And for that, we need to replace, okay, dance with ing. Dancing. This is an exception. Verbs ending in E. We have to clear the E and then ing. Well, but we have another exception. The other one is about verbs that we have in the, there are monosyllable verbs, just one syllable, but remember the condition is to consonant, and between the consonant is a short vowel. And it's a special case, but it's not only for the ing form. We can use, this is a similar rule for the past tense with the regular verbs, and it's similar what we do, for example, with the adjectives, maybe superlatives or maybe comparative adjectives. It's the same rule. Just the thing that change is at first, well, in some cases are adjectives, in other case are verbs. And the second thing is the ending. Maybe we add ER, or maybe IES, or maybe we use ED. In this case is ING. Well, what I'm talking about, for example, if we're thinking about the verb run, is one syllable, just one syllable, and we have two consonants, and between the consonant is a short vowel. It's a U sound, run, run. Okay, run. Well, and we have to add the ing, but in this case, the rules, in this case, the exception says to us, you have to add another consonant or double the consonant and then add the ing, and you get running. Okay, run, running. Okay, this is for number 3. And we have a derivation for this rule is it's the same rule, but it's for another case. It's in a specific case. And maybe you remember about the verbs ending with the vowel E and the letter L. For example, travel is one of these verbs. We add ing. Okay, and according to the spelling rules for American English, American is going to say, hey, it's just the number 1. It's just add the ing for making this, like traveling. And this is correct according to the United States grammar and spelling rules. But we have the exception for this case, because in British people is going to tell to us, well, in this case you have this verb travel like this. Thinking about this, if we make a separation between the syllable for the verb travel, we are going to say it's 2 syllables verb, and the last syllable bull is with the schwa. It's a short vowel. Okay, it's a short vowel between 2 consonants. It's the same that the number 3. For that, British people say double the L and I add an G. And we can find writing like traveling with 1 L for American English and with double L for United Kingdom English. Okay, then we go to 4. And number 5. Number 5 is the case when we have some verbs from 1 syllable ending with the IE diphthong. For example, die is one of these verbs ending in IE. Okay, for making the ing, we have to replace the diphthong IE, in this case for Y, and add the ing form, like dying, dying, okay? This is about to remember all about to making the gerund form or the past, the present participle form or the ing. Well, we have any names, but they are the same thing. Well, what more? Number 6. What about the verbs ending in Y? Okay, for example, play. We have play and we can, right here, for example, study. We have 2 verbs ending in Y. Okay, we are going to make the ing form for the 2. In this case, we have this thing is that we are going to add ing no matter if before the Y there is a vowel, no matter if before the Y there is a consonant, okay? Just add the ing. Study, for example, we go to study to studying, playing, studying. Just add ing. No matter if here is a consonant before the Y or here is a vowel before the Y. Okay, and these are the rules that we have to remember to make use for the past progressive tense. Remember, the structure is we use a subject, then was or were, and then one verb in an ing and a complement for make a statement, a regular statement in past progressive tense. Okay, well, that is some theory about this, but here we have another things important. Take a look for the next. We are going to talking about the time clauses. In this case, the time clauses says to us about the past simple and the past progressive tense. We have the thing that we can make sentences or a specific using for these verbal tenses, talking about an interrupted action in the past for another action that was completed in the past. In this case, we are going to use when. We use when for when we have a past progressive, then when, and then a past simple statement. We are going to use when in this case. Past progressive, I was doing something in the past, and then come another action that make an interruption to the past progressive statement. I was doing something and then came something else. Well, but we have another use for this, and is with the clausal while. We are going to use while in this way. Past progressive, then while, and then another past progressive statement. We have here past progressive, while, and another past progressive statement or sentences. What does it mean? Okay, it means that we are going to talking about 2 actions that happen in the past at the same time. Okay, at the same time. For that, we are going to use while, and when. We are going to use when we are going to do like a mixing between past progressive and past simple tenses. Okay, well, that is clear because yesterday we were talking about these cases. Now continue. We have here one chart about the past continuous tense, and remember, past continuous indicates an action which started in the past and continued in a certain time period. That is the big difference between past continuous tense and past simple tense. The past continuous tense, no matters if the action was completed in the past, just is an action in the past, and maybe it can take a time, a period time, but is not it is not part for the past continuous tense to know when it finished in the past. That is a work that make past simple tense. Well, but pay attention for this structure because it's like a repetition for these verbal tenses. Let's see, I'm going to use this color. Well, I was, and we have to use an ing form. There is the verb start, starting. I was starting, okay, but we can change starting for whatever verb with ing form according to the rules, to the rules in the previous page. And we have I wasn't. It's most common to say wasn't. Remember to use contraction. I wasn't. I was not. I wasn't. And for make a question, I was. In this case, we come from I was to was I. It's a switch between the verb to be and the personal pronoun. They change about the position. Okay, I was, I wasn't, was I. It's a question. And then we have you were, you were. And you can use any verb with ing form. You weren't, you weren't. Were you? Were you? Like a question. And for he was. And then we are going to use he wasn't. And was he? Like a question. She was is the same. She wasn't. And was she? It was for it. It wasn't. Or maybe was it? We were. We were, okay? And we weren't. We weren't. Were we? Were we? You were, in this case, remember, is the you plural. For Spanish and Latin American Spanish is like to say ustedes. Okay, ustedes estuvieron, you were. And we have for example, for Spanish, well, it's gonna be like vosotros in this case. You weren't and were you. And the last one is they were, they weren't. Remember to use contraction. And were they, were they. What we have to do, okay, this is the base. You only have to add the ing form that you want to talking about some verbs in each of these statements for making maybe the affirmative statement, negative, or the question or interrogative statement. Ok, bueno, cerrando acá lo que hemos venido hablando, no se nos olvide que el pasado continuo hace uso de una parte del pasado simple, que es el verbo to be en su forma was y en su forma were. Por lo tanto, la forma de expresar las oraciones ya sean estas afirmativas, negativas o interrogativas, se va a basar en el uso del verbo to be. Así que es similar a lo anterior. ¿Dónde está la diferencia entre quedarnos con pasado simple, con to be, y pasado continuo? Es en el uso del ing. Cuando agregamos el ing, nos damos cuenta que el was y el were se han convertido en un verbo auxiliar y que el verbo principal o la acción principal está en el ing. Yo estuve haciendo algo, es lo que estamos queriendo decir. Y nos basamos en el estuve o el verbo traducido, ¿verdad? Como fui también, yo fui, yo estuve, dependiendo de cómo lo queramos traducir, más el ing. Entonces, esta forma siempre la vamos a ver en estas oraciones. Lo que he marcado ahí en el color pink es precisamente la estructura elemental de cómo debe de iniciar. Ahora, cuando nos hagan preguntas como was I, were you, was he, was it, we were, we, they, cuando nos hagan preguntas de ese tipo sin involucrar una WH question, las respuestas de estas van a ser igual como contestábamos en el pasado simple. Es decir, vamos a limitarnos a decir, por ejemplo, yes, I was, si es una respuesta afirmativa, o no, I wasn't, si es una respuesta negativa. No es necesario agregar el ing. No es necesario agregar el verbo con ing. Podemos dejarlo hasta el yes, I was, no, I was, o cambiarlo dependiendo del pronombre con el que se nos esté preguntando. Así que la short answer, cuando comiencen con was o were, van a tener esa misma estructura que ya hemos visto previamente para el pasado simple. Okay, but we have something else. Tenemos algo más. Pay attention for this. We have positive sentences like affirmative statements. You were watching television late night. Okay, and this is a base structure for these verbal tenses. Recordemos la estructura base, ¿verdad? Para esto es un subject, then was or were, then un verb in ing form, verb in ing, and a complement. Esa es la estructura base de estas oraciones. You were watching television last night. Tiene esa estructura elemental. And then we have, for make the negative statement, we are going to use this structure. Was, were, with not. You were not watching. You weren't. You weren't. Recordemos que acá, por la parte de la grammar, se suelen poner siempre en estas oraciones de ejemplo, estas sin contracción. Pero en la práctica es más común siempre pronunciar las contractions. Wasn't y weren't. ¿Ok? Wasn't y weren't. You weren't watching television last night. And for the question, were you watching television last night? Okay, try to make that translation form in Spanish to get clear what we are saying in this case. For example, you were watching television last night. Tú estuviste viendo televisión la noche pasada. You weren't watching television last night. Tú no estuviste, weren't, no estuviste watching, viendo. And for the question, were you watching television last night? Were you watching television last night? ¿Estuviste tú viendo televisión la noche anterior? Remember, it's a question. It's a question. ¿Estuviste viendo? Remember about this. Entre este y este debemos de sacar la conjugación del ser, estar, más los verbos terminados en ando, yendo del español para poder hacer las traducciones o las correspondencias. Okay, take a look for the other one. They were studying math yesterday. They were studying math yesterday. Okay, and we have here the negative statement. They weren't studying math yesterday. And for the question, were they studying math yesterday? Well, in this case, for the number one and the number two, we have the base structure. Is the base structure for this. Some people say, okay, in the complement, you can add an expression time. For example, last night and yesterday is an expression time. But in this case, last night and yesterday make a period of time. It's about a period of time. It's not a specific time, because for a specific time, we are going maybe to use the past tense to the past simple tense to be clearly about the exactly moment that something finished in the past. But in this case, is not, for example, last night, we don't know the time, how much time, how long time, or maybe the start and the end about to watch television last night. We don't know that, because for the past progressive tense, it's no matter about that. We met yesterday, but yesterday has, or maybe it had 24 hours. How many times? We don't know. We don't know exactly the time that they finish, because it's not important the time to the finish in the past for the past progressive tense. Well, take a look for the other one, because in this one we have a little change. For 1 and 2, for this one, we have the basic structure. It's the basic structure for a statement with past progressive or past continuous tense. Remember, we have two names, progressive or continuous. But in the number 3, we have a change. I was washing the dishes. Okay, until the dishes. Just this is the base structure for past progressive tense. And then we have when. And then we have the phone rang. Okay, we are going to use colors for get the difference. At first, we have I was washing the dishes. This is the past progressive tense. And then we have when, a clausal. Okay, this is the clausal. And the phone rang. The phone rang is past simple. Past simple. This is one of the specific use for the past progressive tense. If I want to tell to somebody about one action that what happening in the past, but then come another action that make an interruption in the previous action, we use this structure. We are going to use past progressive, then when, and then past simple. Okay, and we have I was washing the dishes. That is the past progressive tense. When is the next, is the union for these two expressions. And then the phone rang. Remember, ring. Ring is the simple present tense, but in this case, rang, the past, for an irregular verb. Well, and we have another thing interesting in number 4. Pay attention. Sorry. After that, we have this. We can use this structure in positive or affirmative and negative and questions. For example, I wasn't washing the dishes when the phone rang. Or maybe, was I washing the dishes when the phone rang? Like a question to myself. Was I doing this? I don't remember. Was I doing that? Was I doing something when another thing happened? It's like a question to myself in this case. We can use this way in affirmative, negative, and questions. Past progressive, when, and then we have a past simple. But maybe we can use another way to express the same. It's like the same thing. We have this another example is, as she was reading the book, Alice came. Is the same, but in this case it's a little changing because we're going to use as, then the past progressive statement, then we are going to add a comma in this case, and then we are going to use the past simple. Is another way to say the same thing, that I was doing something or there was happening something when came another activity that make an interruption in the previous one. Okay, for example, in this case, as is like when, is like a substitution for when, and the comma 2 is part for these sentences. And then we have the, in red color, I'm going to show you here. Reading the book in red color is the past progressive, and in blue color we are going to have the past simple. Alice came. Is the same, but in another words, with another words, using as and a comma to make the separation between the past progressive and the past simple. Well, and we have another, the same thing, as she was reading the book, Alice came, for making the negative. And we can make two, for example, in a question. Well, let's see the two more. We have the last ones. It was raining yesterday evening. It was raining yesterday evening. I was learning German last year. Okay, these two sentences are similar to the number 1 and number 2. According to what? Okay, we have in these statements, we have last night, yesterday, yesterday evening, and last year. Okay, we have in this case time expression. Time expression. But this time expression are saying to us, these are period of time. Is period of time. Okay, last night is a period of time. Yesterday, it's a period of time. Yesterday evening, it's a period of time. And last year, it's a period of time. When we are going to say something that I was doing in the past, in a period of time, not exactly when it start or when it finished in the past, just to say I was doing this in the past, in a period of time, we are going to use past progressive tense. Bueno, con esto estaríamos cerrando, ¿verdad? En ese cuadro tendríamos un pequeño resumen de ejemplos de lo que hemos venido hablando. El único que no está incluido acá es el caso de utilizar el while, que es cuando usamos dos oraciones o elaboramos dos oraciones de eventos que sucedieron en el pasado al mismo tiempo. Pero se nos hace hincapié en este ejemplo que podemos referirnos a expresiones de tiempo en el pasado con el past progressive, pero nunca al momento en el que algo terminó, sino como dejarlo como en un stand-by en el pasado, solo dejarlo en el periodo de tiempo en el que esto se realizó, pero no ser tan específicos, porque ya cuando somos específicos en cuando algo terminó, entonces ya estamos rayando el pasado simple. Y ahí es donde debemos distinguir cuándo utilizar uno y cuándo utilizar el otro. El pasado simple es para, como dice la canción, ¿verdad? Lo pasado, pasado, lo que ya quedó atrás. Pero si yo quiero referirme a espacios de actividades que realicé durante el pasado, que estuve haciendo en mi pasado, ahí es donde entra el past progressive tense. También en estas situaciones en donde estoy yo haciendo una actividad o estoy narrando que estaba yo haciendo algo, cuando vino otra acción, vino otra persona o algo que interrumpió lo que yo estaba haciendo. Entonces se asume que el otro es pasado simple porque esa actividad se terminó. En cambio, la que fue interrumpida, no se sabe si yo la continué o no la continué. Lo que dice ahí, I was washing the dishes, ahí ya no sabemos si terminó de lavarlos o no. I was reading the book, no sabemos si siguió leyendo o no, porque eso no es interés del pasado progresivo. Okay, time is over. We are going to say bye-bye for today. But remember, I wait you for tomorrow class. Please take care. May God bless you, everybody. Goodbye.
Good night, teacher.
Good night.
Goodbye. Take care.